Official Chicagoland weather forecast. Sunny in the morning hours, partly cloudy for the afternoon, highs in the mid-80s. It is 70 right now. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We talked about his letter earlier in the week. He being David Lampert, who's the CEO of Lester Lampert Fine Jewelers in Chicago, a company that, as he recounts in his letter, was looking forward to 2020 because it was the celebration of their 100-year anniversary as a Chicago-based fine jeweler, multi-generational family business, like so many in Chicago, that moved around, but in the Gold Coast, great-grandfather, grandfather, father,
it's in their blood.
To David. And he writes, "It's disheartening to see what our city has become. We're hearing story after story from clients who are afraid to come to the city to see us right now. People are terrified to go out in public. As you can imagine," again, the letter to the mayor, "this isn't good for business. We're a relatively small business, but we do employ over 25 people. 25 families are dependent on our success. We strongly support peaceful demonstrations and freedom of speech. However, we must also support law and order, the police, and prosecute criminal activity to the fullest extent of the law." He writes, "I'm sure your intentions are good, Mayor, but you must put politics and ego aside and work towards fixing these issues. If it means accepting help from the federal government, take it. I fear we are at a tipping point right now. We will either get Chicago back to its great stature among the world's finest cities or delve further into chaos, the likes of which will make Detroit of the 80s and 90s look like paradise." Lori Lightfoot does not think things are this urgent.
No, and Craig Waltz sat down with her yesterday, and, everything's fine.
What do you say to those businesses or those residents who say, where was this plan after the first round of looting? It might have prevented the second round.
Well, I think we did. Of course, we made adjustments after the first round of looting, but clearly they were insufficient. And we needed to step up our efforts, and we have done that.
Mayor Lori...
And nothing's closing and nobody's leaving.
I'm not concerned about people fleeing the city. This is a great city.
The response to the adjustments that were or were not made was very generic in nature. Yes. It sounds like somebody who's bailing water to me. Well, that's a response, I guess, to the business community. We'll find out right now if David Lampert has received a more directed response to the issues he raised in his letter. David Lampert, CEO of Lester Lampert Fine Jewelers in Chicago, joins us. David, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me.
So have you received any response from the mayor's office?
I have not.
We had a letter that predated yours by a few days from the CEO of a big residential outfit in Chicago as well, saying more or less the same things you're saying about both his company's staff as well as the residents in the buildings that they manage. And it doesn't seem to be drawing much of a response. Maybe more businesses will follow suit or the associations will follow suit after your leadership and this other letter I'm referencing. Is that what you're hoping?
Yeah, I'm hoping that she realizes that this is real and it's important and it needs to be addressed.
And how have things been now in the intervening 10 days since what happened on August 10th?
Well, I mean, I do see more of a police presence, but I don't think I don't know if that's going to make a difference. It might have been a little too late. People are still very afraid to come to the city. The city feels very dangerous when you walk the streets. Anywhere you go, you feel like. I'm sitting right now in my car looking. Every store I look at, half the stores are all boarded up.
Yes,
this is not it's not a feel good city anymore.
It feels desolate, doesn't it?
It does, and it feels like, and I see it. My friends, my family, they're like, well, let's just eat in tonight. We don't want to go, out. We don't want to. Nobody wants to go anywhere. No one wants to do anything. It's sad because that's not Chicago in the summer is like one of the best places to be.
Yeah.
Typically.
Yeah.
But it's not that right now, and it needs to get fixed, and it can be fixed.
All right, what are your suggestions? How can it be fixed?
Well, I think it may take help from the outside. It just might. I think that we also need to push Kim Fox into truly making these prosecuting and putting bad guys away and not letting them out. And not making it, you commit a crime, you get a slap on the wrist, and you're right back on the street. These things need to change.
What are your conversations like with other River North businesses?
Well, the store next to me, Frederick Lynn, was completely gutted. He doesn't have much time left on his lease. I'm not sure he's going to reopen his store. There's a Mancuso, the car dealership, a few blocks down from me. I was talking to him as well. He's like, I just don't know that I need to be here. And we're not going anywhere. But it's getting harder and harder to, we moved to this area because it had this warm feel. We're in River North now, and it's got a very warm neighborhoody feel. And when you look at boarded up stores and closed stores, it doesn't feel so neighborhoody anymore.
It feels like Detroit. I lived in Detroit, and I'm telling you, that was my biggest fear, that would happen. But what about, so if you've been looted, what about your insurance premiums? Have they gone up?
Well, I'm sure they will. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we haven't even settled with the, we had just settled with the insurance on the first time, like the week before. The first time they didn't get in our store the first time, but they did do damage to the exterior of the building. And they did more of that this time, and this time they did get in the store.
And how much did they take?
Well, they did more damage than what they took. I mean, it's crazy. I see a video of inside my store. I have like a big security camera screen in my office, and they took one of my cameras and smashed it in the screen just to break stuff. I mean, the majority of the jewelry, anything really important or of any real value, was in a safe. And right. they did not get in the safes. They stole computers. They damaged our cases. And there was some small little stones and things that they did get, but minor stuff. I feel we're fortunate in that regard. We do take a lot of precautions in what's, locked up and protecting ourselves, but very violating, really ransacked the store for no reason. I guess they were trying to find stuff, but it left a big cleanup mess for all of us, and it was just sad. It was just sad to walk in there, and the morning of, and there's another point like that. The morning of, first of all, I love the police. I think the police are trying their hardest. Yep. Okay, I think I do not believe in defunding the police. I think if anything, fund them better. Maybe get them some better training. Maybe bring in some more police to the areas that need more help. So that's one point. And then the other is, as a business owner, I think that the city could do something. I mean, the technology today is out there. There should be a direct link between the police departments and store owners. My alarm company calls me. They call the police at the same time when something goes down. But I'm not able to communicate then with the police. There's no connection. There should be a way for someone to put something like that in place where, the police can tell me what's happening at my store at 3 a.m. when this is going down.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. I want to get your reaction to something else because there's a lot of lip service and corporate financing being directed the way of Black Lives Matter. Ariel Atkins is an activist, from Chicago, Black Lives Matter organizer, self-described in Chicago. She has commented on the looting in support of it. She recently gave an interview to WBEZ where she said, a lot of people are really attacking our pages. They're like, oh, you support the looters. And yeah, we do, 100%. That's reparations. I don't care. I will support the looters till the end of the day because that's what they need to do in order to eat, then that's what you got to do. She also said winning politically has come through riots. So, it seems to me there's the Chicago business community not always at the tip of the spear when it comes to issues of political controversy, and I understand it to some extent. But with so much on the line, it seems to me there needs to be more voices, including yours, that are speaking out about the underwriting of organizations that are supporting looting and those that are making such statements as Ms. Atkins, as well as the politicians who are appeasing those looters.
I agree. I agree 100%.
And those and those associated and you know, I mean, you're an influential guy in the city too. There's a lot of others, but I mean, you got to have some of the big players who like to hide in the shadows and wait for the coast to be clear to say anything that isn't where whatever 70% of the electorate is. They got to be, you know, they got to be prompted out of those shadows, don't they?
Yeah, people, you know, the politicians have to speak up for what's right. And law and order. That's what the citizens want. They want law and order. They want to be able to feel free and feel safe. And if there's an organization out there that's pushing against that, you know, the right to feel safe or to take, you know, or not to protect businesses in the area, they need to be speaking up against that organization.
Are you familiar with what's going to be happening a week from Saturday? Black Lives Matter is going to be going down Michigan Avenue from at 5 p.m. to midnight to try and get people to stop shopping on Michigan Avenue, and then they're going to go over to River North. Are you going to be, if you know that there's going to be trouble, are you going to be inside your store protecting your property?
You know, I'm not going to talk specifically about what I'm going to do to protect, you know, my store. But I'm sure that with something like this, there will be a police presence. There better be a police presence, and they better make sure the stores don't get looted and hit again.
What about the River North Business Association? What are they doing?
To be honest with you, I'm not that familiar with what they are specifically doing.
Yeah,
They haven't reached out to you or to other shop owners?
I've not heard from them specifically. No, I don't think it's that big an organization. The River North one, the Michigan Avenue one, I know was having a meeting. I think it might be coming up later today or tomorrow. That I was going to try to listen in on to see what they're talking about. I
you know, I'm a just Chicago resident, not a Chicago business owner, but it's just frustrating. You have all these people like yourself responsible for all this economic activity, responsible for all these jobs, and you're just not you, but the collective you, just allowing politicians to cower you. Trade associations. I don't hear anything from Chicagoland Chamber of Commerce. I don't hear anything from Michigan Avenue. I don't hear anything from River North. I mean, what the hell's going on? You're all waiting for Brian Hopkins or Brendan Riley to say something? If it was my business at stake, I would be raising holy hell with all of them and with the business owners, too, who are too cowardly to step forward. But that's me.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but, you know, the Black Lives Matter organization is, you know, it's hard to speak out against it because nobody is against Black lives. You know,
well, of course.
You know, the expression, the saying, everyone supports Black lives. You know, but it's an organization that, you know, they've got a great tagline, but they're not helping Black lives, and it's sad because you know, there are communities that do need help, and they're not helping them.
Yeah,
this isn't to help them. Unfortunately, it's not. You know, but it's very hard to speak out against it without being called a racist. I mean, it's, right. You know, that's just the world we live in right now.
Right.
And nobody wants to be canceled, but people need to step up and say, hey, you know, let's fix this problem. And we expect the people we voted into office to do these things. And they need to step up and do it, or we're going to have to vote them out.
He is David Lampert. He's the CEO of Lester Lampert Fine Jewelers in Chicago, and we do appreciate you stepping out and also joining us and hopefully providing an example for other business owners. And good luck with your business down there and everything that you do. And Lester Lampert Fine Jewelers, remember them. There's David Lampert, the CEO, stepped out. That should be rewarded. David, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
You take for granted the doors and entryways you use every day to get in and out of your facility. They do their job and everything's fine until it isn't. Your commercial door is stuck and your work vehicles can't get out, costing your business big bucks. Or maybe you're facing a fine for fire doors not being up to code. Did you know fire doors need to be inspected annually? The industrial